We are now moving on to lesson 13, which is the complex formulas. And this challenge is kind of a fun one. It fits perfectly around this season, and I've seen something like this before. So it wants us to make a copy of the file, which I have done, and then we need to move to the challenge sheet. So we're going to go over here to the challenge one. And you can see here, they have down at the bottom total with a 20% discount and a total with $30 off. I've seen coupons like that. So for those of you that shop on Black Friday, or they get coupons if you shop at a store often enough, sometimes they'll give you coupons and they'll say you can either get a percentage off or you can get a fixed discount. And so obviously you are looking for which one gives you the least amount of money that you have to pay. So you want the biggest discount so you pay the least amount of money. And this will help us with that. So for this one, it says in cell D6, create a formula that calculates the total using the 20% off discount. And it gives us a hint. It says because we're taking 20% off, 80% of the total will remain. So to calculate this, multiply 0.80 by the sum of the line totals. Okay, so that gave us a lot of stuff to think about. I'm just going to make this bigger so you can see what we're doing. So I'm going to click in this cell, so it was D6, and because I'm going to do a formula, I'm starting with the equal sign. And this one, I want to do the sum first because I need to have the total. So I'm going to click on that to get the total, and I'm going to highlight. I want to get the total of those three. And when we're doing more advanced formulas, we need to keep in mind the rules of math, those PEMDAS rules. So the parentheses first, right? So P for parentheses, and guess what? The way that's doing the sum, do you notice that that's already in parentheses? So that's perfect. So it's going to be parentheses, and then we're going to multiply this by 0.8 because that's 80% is 0.8, and that's what we're going to have to pay. So I do multiply, so I'm going to add that first, and then it's going to do multiplication, and it's going to be by 0.8. So I'm going to hit enter, and it's $155.44 is what I'd have to pay. So now I'll go back to my directions, and so I've done that one, and so now in cell D7, create a formula that subtracts 30 from the total. So I still have to get the total, so I'm going to come back here, I'm going to go back to my sum, and this time I didn't type the equal sign, but do you notice it put it in for me anyway? So that's perfect. So I'm going to add up these three together, and then this time I'm going to subtract the 30 because I'm just taking $30 off. This one's a much easier one to figure out. And so you can see, wait a minute, so 20% is a much better deal. I'd only have to pay $155 if I had a 20% off discount versus if I took the $30 off, I'd have to pay $164. So that's not as good of a deal for me. So I would tell them I want the 20%, please, because that's going to be my best deal. And so then we're just going to click and make sure we've done everything. So it says our spreadsheet should look like this, and those are the exact pieces that I have. So I know I've done it right, and I'm ready to move on.